nominate Honorable Tajuddin Abbas.
I so second.
I rise to humbly accept the nomination.
Is hereby declared the winner and returned elected as the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Hello and welcome to House Ticket, a weekly program that updates you on activities of lawmakers in the House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria. The budget defense exercise reached its peak last week. This is even as the House was built to resume plenary Tuesday, 12 December 2023 to complete work on the budget. How did it go? Join me after the break for a review of activities in the Green Wing of the National Assembly. Don't go away.
The House will pay priority attention to participatory budgeting process and delivery, law reform, electoral reform, women's participation and inclusion in governance, among others.
Many thanks for staying tuned. Let us begin our budget defense stories with the engagement of the House Committee on Appropriations, where it met with heads of the Finance Ministry as well as other ministries, departments and agencies. The report as compiled is presented from the studios.
In its resumed interactive session, the chairman of the Committee on Appropriation, Representative Abubakar Kabir Bichi, in his opening remarks at the stakeholders' engagement, noted that the successful implementation of the annual budgets will determine the success of the renewed hope agenda of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration.
Call for these meetings in respect of 2024 appropriation bill presented by Mr. President Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to the National Assembly for considerations. As we all are aware, the sum of 27 trillion has been earmarked for 2024 supplementary. And on my remarks, 27 trillion may look very big, but considered our, inflation, exchange rate, and all of that, we believe that we really have to look into it and to support Mr. President to actualize his 8-point agenda.
How do you find a balance?
Members of the committee asked questions bordering on Nigeria's low revenue from oil when compared to other oil-producing countries, performance of the 2023 Appropriation Act and the 2023 Supplementary Appropriation Act, especially regarding releases for recurrent and capital expenditure, and data on the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, IPPIS. Responding to some of the questions, Finance Minister Wale Edun told the committee that the government was aware of its revenue to debt limitations, agreeing with the lawmakers on the need to increase revenue generation. Speaking on the proposed 2024 budget, the minister had this to say.
Its estimates are reasonable when you look at the estimates for oil production, exchange rate, and borrowings. And the estimates and projections are reasonable, and they show a direction of travel which includes a reduction of the fiscal deficit from 6.1% to 3.88%, and likewise an increase in the capital share of the budget.
The minister also admits that the low revenue might aggravate capital projects.
from 2023 to 2020.
The interactions continued.
Our tax to GDP ratio is low. So that is also appreciated, that it needs to go up. But my question is, how do you find a balance so that Nigerians don't get overtaxed, one? Secondly, so that small businesses don't crumble in the process of beefing up taxation.
So the emphasis is on collections. It's not on increasing the tax rate, it's increasing the efficiency of tax administration, particularly collection. I think somewhere in a government that is depending on investment, as you mentioned, foreign investment, foreign direct investment, but including domestic investment. It's depending on private sector investment to grow the economy, create jobs, and reduce poverty. The intention will be, where possible, to even reduce taxes.
Others who appeared before the committee include the Controller General, Nigerian Customs Service, Adewale Adeniyi, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, Honorable Ekperikpe Ekpo, Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, Engineer Benga Komolafe, and the Executive Vice Chairman, Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, Dr. Aminu Maida, among others.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen.
In another development, the Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, has stated that the House of Representatives will take deliberate steps to give prominent place to women in the 10th House Legislative Agenda. Speaker Abbas Tajuddin made this known at a one-day stakeholders roundtable conference organized by the House Committee on Women Affairs. This was on Thursday, the 13th of December, 2023.
The House of Representatives has taken deliberate steps.
The Speaker, who was represented by the Deputy Majority Whip of the House of Representatives, Omawumi Onanuga, noted that the current administration took the bold step at its inauguration and gave women over 20% in ministerial appointment, just as the statistics of women heading different agencies of government is on the increase.
The legislature, especially the House of Representatives, has taken deliberate steps to give prominent place to women in the 10th House Legislative Agenda. This conference is an opportunity to advance various strategies to drive the vision for which the We Win was initiated, and I thank the organizers of the conference for putting it together.
I welcome you all to this auspicious gathering.
Earlier in her remarks, the chairman of the committee, Representative Khalifat Ogbara, stated the purpose of the event.
Today we have come together to discuss and deliberate on ways to uplift and empower women in our society, while considering the long-term sustainability of our commitment and effort. The empowerment of women is not just a moral imperative, but also an economic and social necessity. When women are empowered, they contribute significantly to the growth and development of their communities and nations.
Representative Khalifat further reiterated that women's participation is not only a matter of diversity and inclusion, but a fundamental necessity for the effective functioning of the nation's democratic institutions.
Each and every one of us has a stake.
Invited guests and stakeholders during the events gave their contributions.
I'm begging women, let us be more sincere to our country and to ourselves. Let us stand up firmly like the local women, the people you call local. They have stood up to say they don't want this again, and that we lead them to make sure their rights are given to them. Let us all stand up and support this government in the renewed hope agenda. I believe that each and every one of us has a stake in making this country better. In our own space, the oil and gas space, we truly can make it better. And if we're encouraged and enhanced financially. A lot of us could be mentors to those that are trying to come in.
We're really happy to work with your leadership, your chairman, to establish more impactful programs across Nigeria.
The program is still House Ticket. Coming to you on the NTA Parliament, we'll move on now to other committee rooms, starting with the House Committee on Water Resources, amongst others, as ministries, departments and agencies turned up before standing committees to defend their 2024 budget estimates. Let's get the full details from our reporter.
Before the Joint Committee, Senate and House of Representatives.
The joint budget defense sitting of the House and Senate Committee on Water Resources and Sanitation had before it the Minister of Water Resources, Professor Joseph Telumun.
Welcome you all to this year budget defense.
Chairman of the Senate Committee on Water Resources, Senator Abdulaziz Yari, in opening the meeting, spoke on the 2024 budget.
The committee has gone through the proposed budget and observed that there is need for it to do some required adjustments in the interest of the nation, which is our responsibility to do so. You are equally invited to brief the committees on the details of your intervention. You are equally invited to brief the committee on the performance of budget 2023, details of the intervention, to give us detail of your plan for 2024, loans, especially those on 2023 and any other that is not known to the committee. Our performance for 2023.
The Minister of Water Resources, Professor Joseph Telumun, while making his presentation, spoke on the status of implementation of the 2023 Appropriation Act.
In the fiscal year 2023, the ministry and its agencies were allocated the total sum of 230 billion 914 million 477,735 naira only for capital projects. The breakdown of this allocation is given as follows. This is on page 5 of my presentation.
He gave highlights of the 2024 budget proposal.
The main ministry and its parastatals have a total proposal of 145 billion 822 million 918,549 naira, which comprises of 1. The personnel costs under the main ministry. We are proposing 2 billion 983 million 95,416 naira, while the agencies shared 10 billion 57 million 959,960 naira.
There was an interactive session between the minister and members of the committee after his presentation.
You captured it as assistance. Is it a grant or loan? That is one. 2, if it is loan, was this loan booked by DMO? Was it captured in the MTEF presented by Mr. President? And we also want to know if this loan is strictly, the lifespan. Is it for 1 year? Is it for 2 years? Is it for 4 years?
The project has a span year of about 5 years, which is a loan from World Bank. And the loan was $700 million. And this loan and other loans are being managed by the Federal Ministry of Finance, following guidelines and rules. The money is not released to the ministry. There are loans that are being managed by the Federal Ministry of Finance, observing all the rules and regulations guiding those loans. And all these are being captured in the DMO's before they have been executed. So all the programs that are highlighted there in this multilateral, the 4 of them here, all follows the same principle. Good morning, Chairman, my dear colleagues.
From another committee room was the engagement of the House Committee on Electoral Matters with the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu.
He got in touch with us immediately, he had the
Chairman
news.
of the committee, Representative Bayo Balogun, kickstarted the conversation.
We are here today to ensure we do justice to the budget process, and in line with the position of Mr. President that he wants a speedy treatment of the budget, and which we are actually working on, and I believe everybody is actually on board to ensure that we finish this process within the speculated time.
Our 2023 budget is 68 billion.
The INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, in his presentation, said that the Commission's regular budget for every fiscal year was 50 billion naira. However, some changes have occurred for the year 2023.
So practically speaking, Mr. Chairman and honorable members, our 2023 budget is 68 billion, not 40 billion. Not 50 billion. It's 50 billion plus the 18 in supplementary, making it a total of 68. But we are surprised that in 2024, the budget dropped to 40 billion. Our envelope is 40 billion. 40 billion was what was allocated to the Commission in 2021 for the 2022 budget. So what we have can barely pay for personnel cost.
Professor Mahmoud Yakubu also gave a breakdown of the proposed 2024 statutory budget.
So the breakdown is of the 40 billion is one consolidated salary. It was 21 billion in 2023, but if we add the supplementary, it will come to 36, because we paid the arrears from January to December. For this year, we are going to pay as soon as we get cash backing, and then subsequently we have to adjust the salary to reflect the new reality, so that we don't go back to arrears after arrears after arrears every fiscal year. So we require 36.2 billion to pay salaries, the consolidated salaries only, for 15,366 staff of the Commission. Some honorable members may say that when we presented the supplementary budget, at that time we said our workforce was 15,614. How come we have 15,366? That is because the arrears included those who retired, because some of them retired after the commencement of the new arrears. For instance, the effective date was January. Some retired in April, March, and they keep retiring till date. And then as a result of death as well.
And how many offices?
Some members of the committee took turns to ask questions after his presentation.
Section 29 of the Disability Act, where you made a lot of efforts to create an environment for persons with disability to vote. But in Section 28 of the Disability Act 2018 is what my question is going to be based on. In your proposal, how many career officers do you intend to recruit in 2024?
The simple question asks is how many career officers do we have? We have 15,336 career officers in the Commission. How many are persons with disability? I can't say for now, but I know that we're an equal opportunities employer, irrespective of disability. In fact, that is why we created a whole department in INEC for gender and inclusivity.
Going through the document that is just presented to us, I could say INEC is in a very sorry situation, because what is funded here is only personal cost, which is just salaries.
Still from the committee room, the Inspector General of the Nigeria Police Force, Kayode Egbetokun, as well as the Minister of Police Affairs, Senator Ibrahim Gaidam, also appeared before the Joint House and Senate Committee on Police Affairs to defend the 2024 budget proposal.
Permit me to stand on the existing protocol.
In his remarks, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Police Affairs, Senator Abdul Hamid Malan Maduri, said that the Nigeria Police Force is one of the critical institutions in the country's security architecture and a major primary agency for maintaining law and order in the society for the protection of lives and property of citizens. He spoke on the 2024 budget proposal for the police force.
This meeting provides us with the opportunity to review and scrutinize the budget proposal of the force with the aim of identifying areas of improvement and ways to resolve the challenges and constraints. The review exercise is vital and critical to this distinguished committee.
While making his presentation, the Minister of Police Affairs, Senator Ibrahim Gaidam, spoke on some major challenges being faced in the Ministry of Police Affairs.
The biggest challenge of the ministry is the lack of proper funding. Now you can see from our 2023 budget, our total allocation for the capital was less than 1 billion. Less than 1 billion. And then the overhead cost was only 732 million.
Oh, Minister, come again. Your capital is what?
Our capital allocation for the year 2023 was 503 million for the ministry. For the ministry. It's different from the ones for police headquarters, that is police formation and commerce. Police academy is also different. But for the main ministry, that was our capital allocation for 2023.
The IG of Nigeria Police Force, Kayode Egbetoku, gave a summary of the 2023 budget.
A total of 919,682,525,817 naira and 74 kobo only was uploaded into the GIFMIS platform by the Nigerian Police Force, while ceiling appropriated for the Nigerian Police Force was 840 billion, 873 million, 448,159 naira, 98 kobo only.
He further pointed out some key areas that the Nigerian Police Force needs the support of both committees, particularly on the 2024 budget proposal.
The removal of the Nigerian Police Force from the envelope budgetary regime to enable the force to properly project its funding requirements for budgetary appropriation, operational planning, and optimal service delivery. 2, approve adequate funds for the newly established Special Operations Account of the force to enable the Nigerian police to effectively and promptly respond to unanticipated national security emergencies and also support ongoing special operations across the country.
Lawmakers will support the police.
Some members of the Joint Committee made their observations and directed questions to the IG after his presentation.
My own area of concern is how we, as lawmakers, will support the police to function effectively. You know, the increase in security crisis in the nation is worrisome. And what the IG are asking is not out of place.
There are so many ways you can support us, sir. The problem of funding, you also went ahead to identify our major problem, which is funding. Funding is our major problem. Funding affects our training. Funding affects our recruitment. Funding affects our equipment holding. Funding affects our welfare.
The Ministry of Police Affairs, the Nigerian Police, and other agencies have made a beautiful presentation. Questions have been asked, answers have been given, and appropriation work has to commence on the budget on time to enable us to have a timely conclusion. We in the National Assembly will do the needful to ensure the necessary budget heads and subheads receive adequate sum, bearing in mind the physical constraint and financial challenges confronting the government vis-à-vis enormous task of providing security for the lives and property of Nigerians.
now we end the program. We urge you to send in your questions and comments through our feedback channels showing on your screen. Keep a date with us next week for another fresh package. Until then, bye for now.